With Gabby for the big one, the Bendigo Cup.
Thanks, team. The Bendigo Cup is over the 2,400 metres. Looks like a ripper race. This Berkeley Square is going to lead the way here. And as our $5 favourite, has been racing super. Whiskey on the Hill looking for 3 on the bounce here at $6. Sea King, $7. Vow and Declare has been supported, 11 into $9.50. Star Vega, we can never underestimate, at $11. Herman Hess, Kenny Bounce back here, $9.50 out to 11. So the punters aren't really with him there, but Berkeley Square is our favourite for race 7. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on your screen or visit the website.
This mounting yard is brought to you by Shute Harbour Marina Resort, set to be the Whitsundays' best destination for resort-style living, private berths, premium retail and commercial amenities.
13 minutes until connections of either of these horses will be celebrating and hopefully getting their hands on the Apium Bendigo Cup. It is looking absolutely magnificent. The time-honoured Group 3 over 2,400 metres with Melbourne Cup implications again this year. Let's get into the yard and start with the top weight, the old boy, Vow and Declare, the 2019 Melbourne Cup champion who was last seen last Wednesday in the Geelong Cup.
This is what racing's all about, Tim. Here on Bendigo Cup Day, the scene is set. We've got a Melbourne Cup winner as top weight in the Cup, Vow and Declare, and I think he's going well. He got shuffled back at a key stage at Geelong last night when the tempo slackened. Once he got clear, he ran on against the pattern of the day. Craig Williams on, he got the chopper in. You don't get a chopper if you don't think the horse doesn't have a chance. I think they'll be positive today. If he can get some luck and slot in, he'll be in the finish.
He's a grand old man, this horse. He saddles up in really nice order today. Very typical parade for him. He knows his job. He's done it many, many times now, so conserves his energy nicely.
We'll come back to horse 2, Berkeley Square. Let's move on to Le Don Davy, who is 30th in the current Melbourne Cup order of entry. Salts has had the 2 runs this time in.
Look, he was beaten last start fair square by Herman Hess at Caulfield. That was a building run, though. He's going 2,000 to 2,400 metres. Should be here at peak fitness. His Australian numbers, he's at his absolute best when there's some give in the ground. Mark Zara's got his work cut out from that wide draw.
I think he's just about ready to peak, this horse. His coat's come through really nicely now. He's just got to shift the hair on his legs from where he was clipped over winter, but peak fitness and looking really nice and alert.
Another runner for Kieran Maher is Herman Hess. Benny Mellum in the saddle from an outside draw. Won the Herbert Power at Group 2 level 2 starts back, and then didn't have much hope the way the race was run in the Geelong Cup last time.
On the quick backup from that Geelong Cup, you'd expect they'd be positive to attempt to offset that wide draw. He's 2 runs prior when he won at Mornington, and then at Group 2 level at Caulfield hit the mark for this. And as you mentioned, Tim, when that tempo slackened, he was on the back of the speed, shuffled back, had to dart back towards the inside, had no momentum. If he runs up to the mark a couple back, he'll be in the finish.
He's got such a cheeky face, this horse. He looks particularly pleased with himself today. His little ears have been poked forward the whole time that he's been in the yard. He's at absolute peak fitness and he's in fantastic order all round, and that's been showing on the racetrack.
John Simons and Sheila Laxon have already got Knight's Choice secured in the Melbourne Cup next Tuesday. Hasn't been seen since running at the back of the field in the Caulfield Cup. Can we expect any improvement here today, Dave?
Look, he's through 3 of the hottest races this spring. The Underwood Group 1 level, second up at Flemington over 2,000 metres. Then, of course, a Caulfield Cup, but he's been way down the track in all of those. Needs a big form reversal.
I can see an improvement in his fitness, but he now needs to put that onto the racetrack this afternoon. I think that there was a little bit of improvement to come when I saw him in the Caulfield Cup. He has definitely taken it, but he does need to improve significantly on what he's been doing.
We've seen Chris Waller use the Bendigo course proper for a track gallop for Land Legend. We'll be doing just the same, but in race conditions with First Light in a few moments' time. D Lane in the saddle comes out of the Metropolitan.
The 6-length beaten margin that Metropolitan was unfair because at a key stage of the race he had nowhere to go. He got out at the 350, but the race was over. We know Land Legend and Zardozi had put up a margin. By then he should have finished a lot closer. He ran a career peak number a couple back when he ran at Rosehill. My little query is he got the race shape to suit when he ran that peak a couple back. They were out fast and he was home slow. I thought he was entitled to be home a little bit faster. If he runs up to that mark, he'll be in the finish, but at this stage in his career, it's an outlier performance.
No reason why he wouldn't be running well based on the way that he's been turned out. He's fit, he's moving well, and he looks nice and alert, so he does need to bounce back just a little bit on his most recent run, but he's presented to do so.
Lindsay Smith has tinkered with Horrifying's gear ever so slightly. The tongue tie comes off for the first time this afternoon.
Expect Blake Shin is positive. He's a horse that can be slow away. He was slow away 3 back when Blake was on at Flemington when he won over 2,500 metres, but then he booted through, controlled up near the speed. Look, since that win, a couple back, which rates right in the finish here, he has dropped off, and I do feel he's a horse that's a bit better when he can get his toe into the ground.
I think he looks really quite fit for him. He's such a big barreled horse. He can sometimes look big, but he's obviously deep into a preparation, and that's just his body type. But I think his coat's absolutely glowing. He's looked really good for a number of runs now.
Aurora Symphony won the Hobart Cup back in February this year under Geordie Childs. Blake McDougall rides this afternoon and would need a significant form improvement. 4 from 8 at 2,400 metres, but hasn't been near it this preparation.
A very consistent parade from him. He's been reaching peak fitness for a couple of runs now. It's there now. He's taken natural improvement, but he does need to bounce back form.
Terrific opportunity for a very much informed Declan Bates aboard Sea King. We can see him here with OTI's director, Terry Henderson. They combine with Sea King. Harry Eustace puts the polish on. First start under his care. Hasn't been seen since the Ebor. Finished in front of Geelong Cup winner One Smooth Operator.
Nudging $7 now, that's a backable price. He's been carrying big weights overseas. A couple back he carried 64 kilos, won't know himself with 54.5 here. You mentioned he beat home One Smooth Operator in that E-ball. We've seen what he did in the Geelong Cup. He was also backing inside and for the whole straight there in that E-ball, angling for a run. Look, how he comes over, we don't know until he races, but his form certainly stacks right up.
He's definitely done enough work for this. He is just getting a little bit warm between the back legs, but he probably wouldn't have had a warm day like this on a racetrack, well, very often at all, to be fair. So he's entitled to have a little bit of a sweat. He's lovely and relaxed. His coat is a beautiful, rich colour. He's done plenty of work for this. He's not the best mover in the yard, but he's presented in lovely, healthy shape.
Couple of runners for Trent Busserton and Natalie Young here in the Bendigo Cup. The first is Horse 10 Immediacy with Luke Curry in the saddle, who also comes out of the Metropolitan.
It didn't have a chance in that Metrop. He drew very wide, barrier 17. Talk about the visitors draw. Then he was dragged back 16 lengths last and beaten 10, just couldn't get near them. He was building to something prior to that. My little knock is, although he was building to this trip prior to that Metrop run, he was rating higher in his preparation as a 3-year-old, so we need to see him recapture some of that 3-year-old form to be winning this.
He looks spot on today. I don't think the team could have him looking any fitter than what he does. There's just not an ounce of fat on him. I think they've got him primed.
We've been speaking a lot about helicopters today here at Bendigo, and the pilot, Mick D, is on screen. He rides Sunsets, the second of Trent Busserton and Natalie Young's runners.
The horse's peak performance was when beaten a length by Riff Rocket in a VRC derby, so now 4th up with a couple of runs at 2,000 metres under the belt. Looks primed to rise in distance. Was a race that was out fast, home slow last start at Moe. He needs to go to a new level off what he's done since that derby.
He's got a lovely rich colour to him. He's particularly healthy, and once again, as you expect from the Busserton Young team, they've presented him in very, very fit order.
Star Vega comes through the Coonji, which was won at Group 3 level on the middle day of the Caulfield Carnival over the 2,000 metres. He did battle to the line pretty well, didn't he, Salts?
Yeah, he did. He deserves his crack here at Group 3 level again because he's been racing so well throughout the winter. Just had one freshen up in between, then he's now 3rd up off a freshen, so his fitness base is there. Barclay Square was charging at him late there with the race shape again, so I think they just have to ride him cold today, hope they overdo it, save up for one last crack.
He looks super. He's looked awesome for a number of runs now, and I think that today's absolutely no different.
We're very glad to hear Mike Moroney's health is on the improve. He's going to be at Flemington across Cup week. I wonder if he can get a runner into the Cup. Whiskey on the Hill's been really good at his last 2.
Yeah, he certainly has, and he's had 2 runs at 2,400 metres in his career to date. They're both career peaks, so clearly loves the trip, undefeated 2 from 2. He had the run relative to the pattern of the day last start, but he poked his head out, and his winning record says he's a winner. 5 from 14, placed in 7 of them. He's lightly raced. He's the money horse, and he is the map horse.
He's also #1 ticket holder in my fan club, I reckon. He's just a beautiful horse. I love him. I think that he's got so much upside. He's presented in fantastic order again today. Was getting a little bit warm, and he can be a bit fresh in the yard, but that's pretty typical for him. I'm not worried about it.
I'm a Dirty Rascal steps up to Group 3 company after contesting an 84 last time out.
Slow away last start, did some early work, beaten 7.5 Whiskey on the Hill, but hasn't won since July of 2021.
Had a significant sweat here too. He's got himself quite worked up. It is a warm day, but there's probably others that I'd prefer based on that as well.
Good luck to Matt Laurie and Theo Nugent with horse number 15, Staunch, who was good at Caulfield in a benchmark 78 last time.
He's flying, but for easier, steeply up in grade today.
The team have done their job. If he's good enough, he's presented here well enough to run really well. He looks spot on.
Let's go back to one of the leading chances, Berkeley Square, been in a rich vein of form for Dan O'Sullivan this preparation, and a great opportunity for Jayla Kennedy.
Ridiculously slow tempo last start in the Coonji. He was very good against that tempo, charging home. Lady beat Keats and Dublin Journal, a couple back in a good form race at Sandown, savaging the line. He's had one go at beyond 2,400 metres in the past at Group 1 level. Not much luck in a VRC derby behind Manzois. Hasn't seen the trip for a long time. Will just need a little bit of luck, love, though, that they stick with Jayla Kennedy.
It looks super, this horse. He's been so consistent. He's had a decent preparation now. He just keeps on getting better all the time. His coat keeps on shifting all the way through. He's moving particularly well, and you can't beat confidence in a racehorse. He's been racing in such good heart, and you can see that in his face.
Happy to lean the way of the unknown with Sea King. He's got that form through the Ebor, and I think he'll be going closer to price, but we can back a few here. Whiskey on the Hill's been well back. He's your map horse. Want to make him a result. And also Vow and Declare. I thought he was very unlucky in the Geelong Cup when shuffled back at a key stage. Berkeley Square just going to need some luck. He can get back.
Tricky yard to dissect here. There's a number of horses that look well, which is, of course, what you would expect when you're running in a big race worth good money. I'm going to go Herman Hess. I just think this horse looks spot on today. He's been racing in really great form. He's been looking good his last number of runs, and today's absolutely no different. I can't really go past him. It's a very, very even yard, but yeah, I'm with the 4, Herman Hess.
Whiskey on the Hill continues to lead the way in a wide open affair here. Now our favourite at $4.60, been a bit of a good go throughout the parade. Berkeley Square's been rock solid at $5. Sea King next line at $7.50. Vow and Declare has had some support along with Sunsets as well. So no major moves. The punters aren't 100% sure, but Whiskey on the Hill has been the best backed runner for race 7. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on your screen or visit the website.
Harry Eustace been good enough to join us, the trainer of Sea King. Harry, good to see you. The Ebor form, we saw it to the 4 last Wednesday with One Smooth Operator demolishing them in the Geelong Cup. That must have been a good sign for you coming into a race like this.
Yeah, it gave us a level of confidence, and now we're about to find out if we've got our lad in as good a form as Brian's got his.
Pretty warm day. Amy was commenting during the yard that he might not have seen conditions like this ever before at home. How's he handled the whole race day experience?
Actually, he's taken it pretty well. The tie-ups were a bit new to him, but actually apart from that, he hasn't seemed to get too warm, and the flies didn't bother him too much. So no, what we've seen we're very happy with, and we'll go from there.
What's the plan of attack out of the gates the first furlong or so?
Yeah, I mean, we're drawn 3, so you know, we don't want to sacrifice that too much. You know, I'd hope we'd be in the first sort of third of the race, and I've pretty much left it up to Deck after that.
Confident that he can be really hard to beat in a race like this, Harry?
Well, if I can get him back to that Ebor form, he should be very competitive, yeah.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Tim.
There we go. We hear from Harry Eustace, and we'll hear about one of the local chances in Berkeley Square. Dan O'Sullivan's done a terrific job with this horse, and Dan, great to have Jayla on today.
Yeah, that's good to have her on. Hopefully we're just as upbeat about it after the race, but she knows him well. She's ridden him well every time. And look, I've been looking forward to getting him up to this trip.
Probably been a victim of circumstances at a couple of runs in this prep. How does today's race shape up for him, do you think?
Yeah, well, you know, she's just got to switch him off the first half of the race and make sure he's settled, so he can be strong late. So she's got her plans and got who to follow and what to do. So she works it out pretty good. So hopefully she nails it.
Confident he can be right there at the finish?
Oh, I couldn't be happy with how he's going. I'm really looking forward to seeing him over this trip. He's got a ripping turn of foot late, so it'll be interesting.
Best of luck, Danny.
Thanks, Tim.
Dan O'Sullivan and Harry Eustace, we thank them for their time this afternoon. The Bendigo Cup is a minute away. Let's head upstairs to the king of Bendigo, Rick McIntosh himself.
And they're moving in really well. Beautiful sunshine, a glorious day here at the Nursery of Champions for APM Bendigo Cup Day. Aura's Symphony, Country Cup's king. He wins them in Tassie, he wins them in the West. The Don DeVee's got the outside gate. Whiskey on the Hill heavily back to win the Cup. They're off in the Bendigo Cup. We get a good roar too as Whiskey on the Hill jumped out okay from the Queenslander Knight's Choice. Staunch is up running third. First Light going forward on the outside, and Sunsets is having a good look. Vow and Declare, who's a former Melbourne Cup winner. He's chancing the arm early. He's 4 and 5 deep going forward as they come to greet the judge. First Light coming across with him. Sunsets wants a piece of it. Whiskey on the Hill holding up from Staunch, and then Herman Hess. They're about to start swinging out of the home straight. Sea King, the Great Britain version, he's centre field and he's parked up on the outside of the Queenslander Knight's Choice. Then Immediacy, who goes back to the inside of Horrifying. A length and a half to Berkeley Square. He settles with about 4 behind him here as they travel into the back. I'm a Dirty Rascal, Star Vega, La Donda V, and Iora's Symphony is last of all. Into the back. And Sunsets keeps on pressing on here. Vow and Declare found the rail. Doesn't want to give up the front to him, and Herman Hess goes to third. First Light tucked behind them, and so does the race favourite Whiskey on the Hill. A length to Staunch running sixth. One further back to Knight's Choice on the rails, and then Sea King travelling beautifully. Smack bang centre field. In front of Immediacy and Horrifying follows Sea King. Then Berkeley Square followed by I'm a Dirty Rascal, Star Vega. Second last in the Cup, La Donda V, and last in the Bendigo Cup, Iora's Symphony. Herman Hess with 1,000 metres to go. A new leader ran to the top here, a length in front of Sunsets. Vow and Declare took a mid-race rest, the toppy. Fourth in the run was First Light. Now Sea King gets moving. He looks like there's plenty under the bonnet too. He's towing his way up towards the leaders. Then Staunch, followed by Whiskey on the Hill, who's held up on the rails. Horrifying is following Sea King everywhere. Followed further back then to Immediacy, Berkeley Square. Along the inside, next in the race was Knight's Choice, and heading the rest, La Donda V. Star Vega to the outside. Sea King, he was travelling well a long way out. He's cut the ribbons loose now. He's trying to win the Cup. At the 400, he raced 2-3 in front. Down the outside is First Light, then Horrifying. Berkeley Square and Star Vega are wider out. 200 metres to go though. Sea King's in front. Herman Hess is whacking away. It's all Sea King. I reckon he's home. Berkeley Square, Star Vega, Herman Hess. They're battling out the minors, but it is Sea King and a cakewalk. He wins the Bendigo Cup on his way to Melbourne by 4 lengths to Berkeley Square and Star Vega. I'm a Dirty Rascal was scooting down the outside. I think he stole fourth off Knight's Choice and Herman Hess, followed by Immediacy, Vow and Declare. Then Sunsets. Whiskey on the Hill was never a factor from La Donda V, Staunch, Horrifying and First Light.
The internationals to the fore again. Sea King for Harry Eustace and Declan Bates takes out the 2024 Bendigo Cup. Berkeley Square was second, and Star Vega's run a super race in third. 9, 2 and 12 the numbers in the Cup for 2024. Salts.
How outstanding was that? Sea King completely dominated. That Ebor handicap form has come over to Australia, and centre field was packing. He took off at the 600, but he towed Declan Bates into the race. I wasn't sure if Declan wanted to slide up that early. The horse just said, it's go time, and go he did. Put up a margin, and those were charging at him from the rear. Couldn't get close. Berkeley Square, well, he was left with a bit to do settling off midfield. That's what he does, but a nice run, stepping to 2,400 metres. His first time beyond 2,000 metres since running in a VRC Derby. Star Vega, how well's he going? He's been up throughout the winter. That Coonji form through a slow race is stacked right up, second and third through the Coonji. Herman Hess as well. He ran quite well considering he had to do some early work. He was caught wide early, went forward, was the best of the on paces. But Amy, that was completely dominant from Sea King. What a performance.
Oh, wasn't it ever? I'm so happy for Harry. I mentioned at the start of the day, Harry came out to Australia to work, and he worked with me at Freedman's and a whole heap of our old friends. We house shared together. To see him win a Bendigo Cup, I'm so proud of him, and he was shaking, then gave him a big cuddle. He's absolutely delighted, and why wouldn't he be? It's a huge thing, you know, a young trainer come over here to Australia, bring a horse over and win a Bendigo Cup and get a ticket into a Melbourne Cup. It's huge.
And not only a ticket into the Melbourne Cup, has to be a live hope as well, given his one smooth operator form. Betting him home in the Ebor, he'd be absolutely wrapped. Harry Eustace. Timmy Yateman gets another pre-race interview under the belt. Let's hear Harry's thoughts.
Harry, raucous celebrations here in the mounting yard. Congratulations, the winning trainer of the 2024 Apium Bendigo Cup. Sum it up for us in a few words.
Oh, thank you very much. It's incredibly exciting. A lot was riding on. Obviously, it's the last win and you're in for the Cup, so they've got an absolute dream result today. And I'd just like to thank Terry in particular. You know, he managed to buy this horse just before Docklands travelled down as well, and it's proving a pretty inspired purchase. And you know, just a beautiful ride from Deck Bates. I thought we sort of picked him because, you know, hopefully he'd understand the sort of European style and it wouldn't be a sit and sprint. So he just gave him a great ride and rode him with full of confidence.
Harry, you knew you had to run well today to get him into the Melbourne Cup. He was lingering in the low 30s in terms of order of entry. Is it a weight off the shoulders perhaps more than anything now that you've been able to get the job done?
Well, curiously, coming down, we never even thought we'd get close. And then, of course, since we've been here, you know, the Cup, as everyone's well aware, started really cutting up. And so the closer we got to getting in, the more pressure there was, I suppose.
What about when Declan just sort of started to coast around the outside? It looked like he still had a hell of a lot of horse under him.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of felt quite a long way out, but I just was very keen to impress on him that he's more of a sort of typical European type horse and that he's going to work his way into it. So, you know, he took me at my word and it came off today, yeah.
Good luck on Tuesday.
Thanks very much.
Harry Eustace, a very delighted Harry Eustace, and we're now joined by a very delighted Terry Henderson. Terry, congratulations. What a ride that you've been on, albeit relatively short with this horse.
Well, very short. I think it's about 8 weeks long. But, you know, for Harry to get a horse off Mark Prescott and really get the horse to settle, he was half here as a galloping partner for Docklands, but he's just thrived at Werribee. And, you know, the stats of his records during track work have been great, and so great credit to Harry and his team to present him like this today.
The E-ball form was to the form this time 7 days ago. Did you come here with a level of confidence that if he could replicate a run like that, it'd be mighty hard to beat?
Well, yes, but I think we probably got more confidence out of the fact that he was working with a Group 1 horse, and it was, you know, terrific to see him do what he did what the other horse did the other day. But look, that E-ball form's always good form.
I asked Harry if it was a weight off the shoulders to have his place in the Cup secured for Tuesday. Are you feeling the same, Terry?
It was never the intention to have him to the Cup, to be honest. But the way he'd trained on and the attrition rate for the Cup is now giving him a chance if the handicap gives him half a kilo.
We've got to go speak to your jockey. Well done.
Good on you.
Terry Henderson and Harry Eustace, very good with their time. The third piece of the puzzle is Declan Bates, who gave Seeking an absolute peach. Geez, around the turn deck, you look to be absolutely coasting. Talk us through what you were feeling around the bend.
By that point, I was sort of just relying on my horse, sort of just relying on his staying ability. You say I'm the last piece in the puzzle. I was probably a very small piece because, look, we were hoping to be sort of forward in the run. He lacked that bit of tactical early speed, so I had to just sort of work on just getting him settled from then, and he travelled very strong in the run. Any time the tempo come out of it, he just wanted to get going and tried to just sort of nurse him as long as I could. And from about 1,000, I tried to just slowly build into it, but he's just he's probably just got that bit of class compared to a lot of these. He basically just sort of nicely worked into the race and got to the front a lot earlier than I would have liked, but as I said, he's I think I was just on the superior stayer.
From your perspective, Dick, how good a job has Harry Eustace done with this horse? He hasn't been in his care for all that long, but to travel him halfway around the world, it's no mean feat.
Oh, look, you can't overstate it. It's hard enough to come all the way down here with a horse you probably know really well, and for him to get a horse that is only new to his care, bring it down. I said to him, seen him in the mountain yard beforehand, he looked $1 million, and he raced accordingly.
Bit of water to go under the bridge. What are you doing Tuesday afternoon?
It'll want to be a pretty big penalty for me, I think, but you know, look, best of luck to him, and I think he'll be running a massive race. You know?
Well done on getting him in.
Thank you.
Off to a Melbourne Cup is Seeking, and we've seen the last couple of years through the Group 3 Bendigo Cup. The Bendigo Cup winner goes on and is ultra competitive, finishing top 5 in the last couple of Melbourne Cups. We pick it up from the 600. Declan Bates had made an early move. Boundeclair went forward. He ended up getting pestered by Sunsets, dropped off badly. Herman Hess did some early work to find the front. When those leaders started tiring, he was waiting around for nobody. Declan Bates pressed the button at the 600, put up a margin, wanted to lay into the fence, gets the whip in the left hand, straightens him up over to the right hand. This was all over at the 400. Berkeley Square made good ground into second. He hasn't beaten a horse that's not well credentialed, Seeking. He's beaten a good horse in Berkeley Square racing really well this preparation. Star Vega, a Group 3 placing for him. But Tim, that was ultra impressive. We've seen a horse go around at Bendigo today that in 6 days' time is a live chance in the Melbourne Cup.
And I'm not sure what the market has done in the meantime, but he was a massive price for the Melbourne Cup, obviously taking into account he had to win or run really well here today. And just speaking to Terry then, a little bit of a word that Holly Doyle might be the rider for Sea King on Tuesday afternoon in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. So the imports will be combining again, and what a job Harry Eustace has done with this horse in a relatively short time. It's an amazing training performance, Amy.
Oh, it's absolutely super. I just could not be happier or more proud of Harry. He's such a nice guy. He'll always be Dave's brother, you know, but we knew Harry before we knew Dave, and good on him. This is such a big thrill for him to come all the way over to Australia with a horse, win a Bendigo Cup and have a runner in a Melbourne Cup. I'm absolutely delighted for him.
Well, he always said it was 1-0 to Dave after Gold Trip won the Melbourne Cup. He now gets a chance to even the ledger. What a thrill for Harry Eustace and his family. Time to head back to Balaclava. Sea King is the winner of the 2024 Apium Bendigo Cup.